Welcome to Velvet Hell's Stupid Podcast. Maybe that's what I should have called it. Velvet Hell's Stupid Podcast. Maybe more people would be interested. Because people like stupid podcasts, right? So, it's week 3 of our educational film series to help you learn and make you a smarter, better person. Or this might make you dumber. Jury's still out on it. First up, we've got Gags and Gals. And the description says, a musical film review in 3 chapters. Mail order, at your service, and playmates. Sounds sexy. Oh, yeah. First up, we've got mail order. And that's mail as in M-A-L-E. Which kind of go either way, you know. Is it the mail ordering, or are you ordering mails? But since this is a sexist 50s song and dance number film, it's mail ordering women. Because it's kind of, you know, it's like mail order brides. I'm not sure if they're real women or robots, because the guy, ordered 5 of them, but none of them have, breathing holes in their cardboard boxes. And they seem like they're all scrunched up in there, so can't be very comfortable if they were real women. So I don't know if he's going to try out all 5 and see which one he likes the best and send the rest of them home, as the song indicates, or he might decide to keep all 5. So they start dancing before they're even fully out of the box, and he decides, well, I got to take the box completely off so I can see what they look like. Because, okay, they all got pretty faces, but what are their bodies like? That's very important if you're the type that's going to order women through the catalog. That's why, you don't order women online or through the catalog. You go to the store and buy them so you can really inspect them. Yeah. Because, sure, why not? If we're already in, the realm of buying women. So he takes the boxes completely off. And, the company that sells those women's were nice enough to clothe them beforehand. Because I know if you order, a real doll, I think they come naked and you have to go to the trouble of putting the clothes on yourself. But these women, they're already clothed. Even though, they, can move themselves. So they can put the clothes on themselves. It's not like a real doll where you have to do all the work. So they could have given us a cheap thrill and sent the women naked. But no, they put clothes on. And so now he's dancing with all of them to decide which one dances the best, I guess. So he dances with all of them and decides he likes the blonde the best. So all the other girls, they go back in their boxes and they walk away sad because they all wanted to be with him. Personally, I would have assumed he'd check them by fucking them and seeing which one fucked the best or gave the best blowjobs. Because if you're at the point of just being so sexist of buying women, it's all about how they fuck and how they blow you. Right? Because why else wouldn't you want, a relationship with, a real woman? Unless, no real woman wants you. But this guy's pretty good looking. Maybe just his sexist attitude is what turning off real women from him. But, this is, the 40s or 50s. So, dancing is code for fucking. So, he fucked all of them, liked the blonde the best, and now is sending the used goods back. So what do they do with the women that he rejected? Do they get refurbished, sent to someone else? Then someone else gets sloppy seconds? Or when you order, do you get, a new woman, and then whichever one you reject goes back to factory and gets destroyed? I don't know. So many questions that this film did not answer. Okay, the second part of this film is called At Your Service. So this time they're selling maids and kind of suggesting that these maids you can also fuck. Because, I mean, I guess that's the way to really get the guys to order. Except they're not really maids. They're, I mean, unless this used to be a term for maids, but it's like those drive-in restaurants that the women come out and bring the food to you in your car. I don't know if the term for that was maids, but that's what it is here. So it seems really you're just ordering the food, and they're just bragging about the hot women that are going to bring the food to you. But in the song, one of them says that, if you order steak, they're not going to bring you cake. And I am thankful that they are not going to fuck up my order that bad. Like, if I ordered steak and I got cake, or vice versa, if I ordered cake and they gave me steak that was frosted, I mean, I would give that a try. Has anyone tried frosted steak? That is a good question. Let me know if you've tried frosted steak, because that could be something. But anyways, this place is not going to fuck up your order royally. You order steak, you get steak from a hot chick. They also tell me that they're not going to pour coffee down my back, or pour soup down my back, or have coffee that tastes like shellac, which is making me wonder about the other like drive-in restaurants. Like, is this a problem? Like, those other places, they pour soup down your back, but not us. Soup goes in your mouth, not down your back. Like, wow, like, I wouldn't have even thought that was going to be a worry of that if I ordered soup, you're going to pour it down my back. Like, at first I thought, like, we won't spill it in your lap. No, pour it down your back. Like, how bad do you have to be at your job, or just absolutely hate the customer because he's so sexist and is trying to fuck you and order you as a mail order maid, that you would pour the soup down his back? Wow. And the coffee doesn't taste like shellac, which I'll take their word for it, because I don't know what the fuck shellac tastes like. And I will never know what shellac tastes like. That is going to be something that I am going to try to avoid when I die and they put me in the ground. It's going to be on my tombstone. Velvet Al never tasted shellac. And then the women jump up on the hoods of the cars, and start dancing, like in a precursor to Coyote Ugly. Instead of dancing on the bar, they're dancing on the cars. And the guys, not so coyly or subtly, are looking up their short skirts. These are very short skirts. And in their dance, you even, like, catch flash of panty. And I guess this was made before Hollywood put, like, that strict, like, moral code on everything. This might be, like, maybe the earliest non-stag film shot of panties on film. Maybe. I don't know. We'll say it is. But yeah, apparently, I guess that's what you're really going for is, not the food, but to look up girls' skirts as they dance. And again, in the song, it then, like, implies that they'll go on a date with you afterwards. So, they'll feed you and then they'll fuck you. That's basically what they're selling. Yeah, I don't think a restaurant like that could kind of exist today. Well, I mean, actually, isn't that the principle of Hooters? They feed you and make you think that you can fuck them, but if you actually try to fuck them because you're a sexist pig, then you're getting fucked up, not fucked. The way it should be. Just because they're doing the favor of letting you ogle them, and really it's not just a favor because you should pay. You should pay women if you're ogling them. It's the least you can do. But don't touch. Look, but don't touch. That's my motto. That's the motto for my restaurant, where the women in short skirts are going to jump on your car and dance. So the third part of this film is called Playmates. Okay, so at first this one seems kind of innocent, because it seems about, like, just wanting to have friends to play with, and as usual, like, the actors are like 30 or 40, but trying to be teenagers. I'm gonna guess they're gonna be teenagers. They actually are kind of like acting like they're 6, which just makes this then disturbing, because I don't know how I'm supposed to take this. Because then they just start showing their bloomers all over the place. Not straight up panties, because I guess that would be pushing it too far. Having the flash in maid service or at your service, whatever the last one was. That's about as far as they could go. But if they're going to show their underpants this time, it has to be bloomers, so that people don't get too excited. Especially since they're acting like they're 6. So I don't know. But, they're jumping rope while wearing high heels. So I don't know. Maybe it's the baby doll movement of the early 90s, just in the 40s. They're dressing like little girls and being super hypersexualized about it. And somehow I think they're not going for the same feminist statement that the baby doll look was trying to do in the early 90s. I think this is just some guy who was like, and I will completely believe this, some like 50-year-old pedophile was like, we make a film where little girls are running around and showing their bloomers. And someone was like, not really? Well, what if we hire 30-year-olds to pretend to be 6-year-olds? Well, I guess that kind of barely is legal, and not barely legal in the good way. I mean, I'll give it to them that it is a pretty fucking catchy song about climbing cherry trees and looking down rain barrels, which I guess is what the kids were calling it. It just feels skeezy. Like, I mean, I guess, like, I don't know, if maybe it's the song that really leads it to feel like they're like 6-year-olds, and it just feels really disturbing. And maybe this wasn't meant to be kind of like infantilized. Yeah, you know what the word is. Maybe they weren't meant to like make it seem like, they're like little children, but that's how it came off. It was very, very skeezy and disturbing. So, points off for part 3. And parts 1 and 2, points off for the rampant sexism in it. I mean, it's amusing to watch, because this is just the way it was back then. But it is also, like, just very skeezy and disturbing to watch. Part 3, like, if you didn't make them act like such children, I think that'd be cool. Like, because it really, like, interestingly just seemed to really push it with, like, just over and over, like, their dresses going up as they, like, went down slides and did the seesaw and all that and skipping. And just, it seemed like they really just wanted to push the boundaries of how many bloomers they can show. Because maybe that was the workaround. As long as they were bloomers and not panties, you could show them. But they were acting like 6-year-olds, so it was just so super, like, I need to take a shower before I watch the next one. Up next is The Grapevine. Description on this one is, while trying to address the problems of gossip in the workplace, this film does an excellent job of offending everyone involved. And I'm all about films that offend everyone, especially when it's unintentional, because those are fucking hilarious. So let's learn about gossip. Heard it through the grapevine. Bum, bum, bum. Do I have to pay for that now? Luckily, I probably won't get hit by a copyright, because they'll say, it doesn't sound anything like the actual song. So the girls are gossiping, because Nell, fucking Nell. She overheard some stuff, so she thinks that means that Mr. Stone is going to sell the company. Oh no! And everyone's talking about it. Whispers among the grapevine. How did that saying even start? Like, do things just go down the grapevine? And I don't know. I don't feel like thinking about that. But, Alice at least has the balls to ask Mr. Stone outright, are you selling the company? And Mr. Stone is like, fuck no! And he's pissed because of all the gossip of people, like, just talking about things that aren't their business. That's what he said. Like, they're none of your business. And he's just upset, and, he wants Alice to not repeat these stories. Although he probably would want her to at least gossip about the fact that they're not selling. Put everyone's mind at ease. Like, I heard it straight from the boss. Now you all can hear it through the grapevine. The boss is not selling. But what can Mr. Stone do to stop this gossip? That is probably what we will learn. Now, a couple weeks later, Alice is back in the office to get something from Mr. Stone to hand to someone else. And there's a guy in there who's selling a computer, which, remember, this is like the 50s, so the computer probably takes up like half the room. And he says that they're going to send over their best operators. And unfortunately, Alice leaves the room before she hears Mr. Stone say that the operators are going to train the girls in the office to use this computer. So, Alice, she's going to think that the operators are coming to replace the girls at the office. Oh, silly women. I bet she's going to gossip about it because she's a woman. So, word goes through everyone, and all of a sudden everyone's just assuming that Helen and other girl whose name I didn't get are getting fired because apparently they're the ones that are going to be trained on the computer, but they don't know that they're being trained. They just think they're being, like, phased out. So they just go out and they get new jobs that afternoon. Which, wow, the 50s was just a great time that you want a job? Just go out and there it is. Right there. So many jobs, you're just tripping over them. And they're probably like good jobs that you can support your family on. Man, it's a magical, mythical time. Why can't we go back to that? But, so the next day they get called into Mr. Stone's office, and he's about to give them the news. Remember, the news is going to be that they're going to start working on a computer. But they don't even give them the time because they think the news is that they're getting fired. So they're like, well, you don't need to tell us because we've already found new jobs. And Mr. Stone's like, what? But Mr. Stone explains to them, no, you're not getting fired. There's just a new fucking machine and you're going to get trained on it. Which, I mean, now I guess Betty or Jane or whatever her name was. Yeah, that bitch. She's going to have to call the new job, be like, sorry, mistake. And the job's going to probably be like, that's okay. We'll just find someone else. It's the 50s. Everything's great. But Mr. Stone's very upset because, just these rumors are going all around and he doesn't know how to stop them. And then we get the title card. How can you keep rumors from getting started? And then that's the end of the fucking film. No, you're supposed to tell me how I could stop them. If I knew how to stop the rumors, it wouldn't be a problem in the first place. What the fuck is up with these educational films that end before they educate you? Here's the problem. It's up to you to solve it. Good luck. Up now, it's the Hare and the Tortoise, which feels kind of weird for the hare to get top billing. Usually it's the tortoise and the hare. But I think this one uses real animals. So that looks like fun. There's even an owl, a fox, a goose, a rooster, and even a raccoon. So that sounds like it's going to be fun. And we're going to learn that the hare is much faster than the tortoise. The moral of the story is slow and steady wins the race, but I never took that away from the story. My takeaway is don't be an cocky asshole. Because that's the reason the hare lost the race. It wasn't because, he was oh so tired, because he ran out of gas. He's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm almost there, but fuck it. I'm so far ahead. I can just whatever. Had he just gone the extra 3 steps or whatever that he needed to, and he could have, and then taken the nap, and then just flip off the tortoise when he came, but he's like, I got it in the bag. So that's the real lesson, is don't be a cocky asshole. Oh, the animals are cute and adorable and pretty good actors. So the rabbit's just bragging about he runs everywhere so super fast, he outrun the fox and he outran the dog, and no one can challenge him. And all the other animals that are gathered, they're like, yeah, no, we're not gonna do it. Not the skunk, not the rooster, not the fox who already got beat, really. So, why is the fox gonna try again? He doesn't want to lose twice. He knows he's been defeated. But then the tortoise is like, I'm sick of your shit, so I'm gonna race you. And he goes up and he headbutts the rabbit, and the rabbit tries to eat his head. I don't think that was in the script. I think that's just someone pushed a turtle towards a rabbit, and the rabbit was like, what the fuck is this shit? Let me taste it. So the rabbit goes up to the owl and says, I can easily win this race, right? And the owl's just like, I don't know, maybe. And the rabbit's like, maybe. I could just spend the day eating and wait until the tortoise is already near the finish line, then run and take a nap and still win. Which again, that's the rabbit's problem, is that he's a fucking cocky asshole. Not that he's trying to be too fast. He's a fucking cocky asshole. He's already decided he's gonna take a nap in the middle of the race. And the turtle goes up to the owl and he's like, I could win because I'm slow, but I'm steady. And, this film is actually kind of entertaining to watch because all the animals just have this kind of what the fuck's going on look. Because, it just was like someone pushed the rabbit towards the owl and they're like, what? What's going on here? And then someone pushed the turtle towards the owl and Owl probably never saw a turtle before in his life and was like, what the fuck is this? And then they pushed the fox towards the owl, and I'm surprised the fox didn't try to eat the owl. But the fox, his job is to come up with the race, which, why are you letting the fox come up with the course? Remember, the rabbit has beaten the fox. So of course the fox is gonna, be pissed off and want the rabbit to lose. So he's probably gonna design a course that favors the tortoise. Couldn't they let the skunk, design the race? Because the skunk probably would have been like, yeah, you run from here to there, I don't care. So the fox comes up with the course, really super hard, running over logs and through creeks and all that stuff. And he's pretty proud of himself. Meanwhile, the hare and the tortoise, they're getting ready for the race. And they're preparing by eating. Which I guess, it's important to get a good breakfast, eat some Wheaties, because you can't win a race on an empty stomach. Ask Usain Bolt. You won the race. Did you do it on an empty stomach? And he probably would say, no, I ate food. Whatever food it is racers eat. I don't know. I don't know much about racers. I've never met one in real life. Do they exist? Are they fictional? I don't know. Usain Bolt, for all I know, might be 2 squirrels in a skin suit. Kind of creepy to think about it. But, yeah. Now I'm going to fixate on that for a while. But the race has started, and, the hare is off running, and the tortoise is just blah, 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 blah. So they're running. Well, the hare is running. The tortoise is walking. And the fox is set, like, midway to make sure, they're staying on course and not, trying to cheat. And I gotta say, the fox shows great restraint in not trying to run and eat the rabbit or the turtle. Because, foxes want to eat rabbits. I don't know if a fox would want to eat a turtle, but I don't know how often foxes see turtles. And, the fox might see, oh, this is a moving thing that's moving very super slowly. I think I could catch it. So I would think the fox would try to jump and, try to eat the turtle. Just saying. But the rabbit, he's so far ahead, he's like, fuck this, I'm going to sleep. And we all know what happens next. Hare is asleep, tortoise wins. By the time Hare wakes up, it's so close. So you know what? He really wasn't, fucking lying about, he could win if the tortoise was near the finish line. Because seriously, just the tortoise got half his body over, and the hare jumped all the way over. So if the rules were that your entire body had to cross the finish line, then the hare would have still won. So, but, we learned the lesson. The owl tells us, slow and steady wins the race. But really, it's don't be a cocky asshole. That is the lesson to learn from the hare and the tortoise. Up next is The House in the Middle, which is about atomic tests showing the effects on homes, and that cleanliness is an essential part to be prepared and to help survive. So we're going to find out what happens to your house when an atomic bomb drops and why your house should be clean, I guess. Cleanliness is godliness, after all. The fuck? It starts off with an atomic test, but it's 3 shacks. It's not 3 homes. 3 fucking shacks. How is that going to tell me how it affects my house? A shack is not a house. And, actually I want to learn, put someone in one of those shacks and find out if they turn into the Incredible Hulk or not. They're going to teach us how it affects shacks. Not a house, a shack. So now we're on to the real tests. They have 5, this first test, they have 5 fences set up. 3 in the middle, they're decaying. The one in the supreme middle has garbage all over. And the 2 on the ends, they're in perfect tip-top shape. And kaboom! It's dropped. They didn't actually drop the bomb. They did a simulated whatever the bomb does. Because they can't waste the bombs, So they gotta do simulations. But those ones in the middle that are all like slumlord type fences that are falling apart, whoosh, up in flames. While the 2 on the ends are relatively safe. So, lesson 1, keep your fence in good shape. And you too can survive the atomic bomb. Which, you might be thinking, well, I don't need to know this. What are the chances of an atomic bomb being dropped on us? Very high, I say. Very high. Now, test 2. They have 2 miniature houses. Which I guess were the shacks I was thinking they were earlier. But no, they're just mini homes. And inside, both houses are the same structurally. But inside, one of them is messy with newspapers littered around and some garbage. Doesn't even look that messy. Just untidy, not spick and span perfectly clean. So, fuck you for calling that messy. That's like my house. Meanwhile, the other house is spick and span and perfect. And even has plastic on the furnitures. Which I'm going to say, you know what? That's going to fucking melt onto the furniture in the giant blast. So they do the blast, kaboom, and the structure starts falling apart. The roofs fall off both houses. But the messy house also catches fire and burns up quickly. So, yeah, you should keep a clean house because it'll kind of survive an atomic blast. Kind of a moot point when you stop and think about it that, yeah, it's also going to be fucking radioactive, so it's not like I'm going to be able to stay in this house. So, while I didn't die in the fire, I am now got radiation poisoning, and I'm just going to die a much slower death. So, if anything, you want to keep your house messy so that if an atomic bomb is dropped on your house, you die instantaneously. And you don't suffer years and years of horrible pain and mutations. Or if you're lucky, either way, you turn into the Incredible Hulk. So now they've got 3 houses. It's the final test. One of them just complete shit show with garbage all over the front. The house is pretty much just already falling apart. The second house, from a distance, it looks like it's in decent shape, but the wood's kind of rotting because no one's been painting it. And the third house is just immaculate. They've kept up with it, and they've been painting it, and everything looks good. And then once again, kaboom! They drop the bomb. And the shit house just instantly goes up in flames and is done for. The decent house, it looks like, okay, it doesn't look too bad, and there goes the fire, and that one's gotten too. But the one that's been kept up has, no structural damage, unlike the one in the second test, so this one was built even stronger than the house in the second test, I guess. But again, a moot point as there's gonna be fucking radioactive fallout everywhere, so even though that the house is still standing, it's gonna get fucking torn down anyhow. So, kind of pointless test. I mean, I guess that back then they didn't realize that, dropping a fucking radioactive bomb is gonna cause everything to become radioactive. They didn't think that far ahead. So maybe they thought, well, if you have a really good house that's been well kept, you will survive an atomic bomb. And it's kind of like, well, the house will survive the atomic bomb. You yourself, however, not so lucky. I think this film was just kind of fear-mongering. They're just trying to use scare tactics to get you to clean up your house and force your kids to go around the neighborhood and picking up litter. Because they tell you, it could be the difference for survival. But your house may survive, but you won't. It doesn't matter what you do. The atomic bomb is dropped. You're done for. Ask all those people in Hiroshima, how was your house? Was your house nice and clean beforehand? Just so. But, yeah, clean your house so your house can survive the atomic bomb. And like I said, there's a very high chance. They want you to think that the atomic bomb's not going to be dropped on your house. Oh, but it will be. And the last one for this week, only going to do 5 this week because this one is twice as long as the other ones. So it's going to take the place of 2. But it's human reproduction. So I don't have to tell you why I'm doing this one. Oh yeah, we're going to end with some sexy time from the 50s to learn about sexy time. Oh yeah. So we've got John and Mary Burke, who Mary apparently wears high heel slippers, according to the narrator. Was that really a thing? Poor women back then. You couldn't even just relax. Let me put on some slippers. Nope, they gotta be high heel slippers. Yeah, your feet are gonna be tortured even at home when you're relaxing. Man, it's one of the things I'm kind of glad we've moved away from forcing women to wear high heel slippers. Wow, but John's brother Jim, because it's the 50s, so John and Jim, just very unordinary names. He's at the hospital with his wife because she's having a baby, and they're not sure what they're gonna have because this is the 50s, and so they don't have ultrasounds to see like is it gonna be a boy or a girl. Who knows? But John Jr. is overhearing this and like, how can they have a baby if they don't know what kind they want? Oh, John, you've got some splaining to do. So you get the usual questions like, where do babies come from? Well, mothers bring them into the world. But why do only mothers have babies? Well, by the grace of heaven, mothers are the only ones equipped to have a baby. Which, what John Sr. is really saying there. Whew, we got the long end of the stick here, boy. We don't have to carry babies. And that's A-okay. Make the fucking women have to go through the torture of pregnancy and giving birth. While us boys, we just stand by, high five, and give each other cigars. And I'm scared now. Because they're showing us a model to teach us the reproductive systems. And there's a fucking plastic vagina. I've never seen, like, these reproductive things actually show the vagina. It's like, so that we know the labia, but it's there, it's a vagina. It's a shaved vagina, so that, we could see the labia, I guess, or, I don't know, I mean, was that becoming a trend in the 50s of, like, hey, let's start shaving our pubes off? No, because 70s porn is all, like, just Jungle Bush all over the place. But it might have just been, like, the 60s and 70s, women were like, we're taking it back. We're growing it out. We're growing out that rat's nest. Well, in the 50s, they were all, like, prim and proper and all nicely trimmed. I don't know. Ask your grandma. If you really want to know, ask your grandma if she shaved back in the days. I will give you $1 if you actually do that, because that would be fucking hilarious. But yeah, we're seeing the sex organs, but I don't know, that plastic vagina just kind of threw me off. So I imagine we're going to see a plastic penis later. And hopefully not see the plastic penis inserted into the plastic vagina. Please, filmmakers, do not go that far. And then we get the usual, like, clinical speak of all the different, like, organs inside of a woman. Although I think this might be the first time I've ever heard any sort of educational thing refer to the vagina as moist. So awesome. Oh yeah. I don't know. I don't remember ever hearing like the word moist in school. I could be wrong. But I would think that if they did, there'd be a lot of like cringing because for some reason people don't like the word moist. I don't know why. I like it. Moist. 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 It's a fun word. I don't know why people are so cringe over it. And it also does tell us that if there is no hymen, that doesn't necessarily mean that the woman's not a virgin, because it could be broken in other ways. So, good for you for being progressive thinking and not being all like, if there's no hymen, she's a whore. So thank you for being progressive like that. So we get an animated look at how the female reproductive system looks through the cycle of menstruation. It starts off like the blood droplets going down, and then a few days of nothing, then the egg leaves the tube, or the ovary goes down the tube all over again, and this was repeated like 5 or 6 times, just so that we know, or maybe to just illustrate that how this is a constant thing going on. And I don't know, my mind just went like burnt out on it. Like, I feel like I didn't really need to see it that many times. Like, I got the point the first time. Blood comes out, egg shoots out, repeat, rinse, lather, repeat again. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I feel like these educational films are making me dumber. So maybe I should stop. But I need to learn about menstruation, because this is only like the fifth film I've watched in the series that mentions menstruation. But the narrator tells John Sr. that it's important that he fully understands this so that when John Jr. asks him about it, he can explain. Then John Jr. asks, "Why do babies have fathers?" And John Sr. is trying to figure out, like, well, how do I explain this? And the narrator saying, like, yeah, one day you're going to have to explain why babies have fathers, which, between me and you, spoiler alert, because the father fucks the mother, shoots his sperm, and impregnates her. That's how it works. But this time, so we're going to look at the male reproductive system, but instead of a model, like a plastic model, we just got a drawing, which is weird. Like, I guess no one wanted to, like, make a plastic penis. They couldn't get enough people, or, I mean, like, they had to turn away people from making the plastic vagina. Like, everyone, like, at the factory just volunteered for that job. Like, yeah, I want to make a plastic vagina. Like, okay, we've got enough people on the plastic vagina duty. Now we need some people from for the plastic penis. No. And the other weird thing is, so in this drawing, he's got pubes. So we're seeing pubes on the male reproductive system, but not on the female reproductive system. And, you know, I mean, they could have trimmed the pubes up nice that you can still see the labia. So I don't know, is this subtly trying to reinforce, women, you gotta fucking shave or wax that shit. Men, yeah, let it grow out, because you're a man, and men don't shave. So, I don't know. And I'm gonna, like, focus a little too much on that discrepancy, because that is just very weird to me that they would show pubic hair for the boys, but not for the girls. That is just I'm just not gonna get over that. Like, that is fucking sexist. Just how, like, this year the big thing with the Olympics is that, you know, the girls have to wear the skimpy clothes while the boys get to, you know, wear longer shorts. And I agree. Boys should be forced to wear the skimpy clothes too. You know, 'cause come on, we don't really care about sports athletics. We're just looking at hot bodies. So I want to see the hot male bodies as well. You know, Tonga dude goes out there without a shirt, oiled up, and that's all everyone talks about. So make the men volleyball players just play in a thong. Tonga thongs. Yeah, there's something there. We can market that. Anyways, yeah. So I guess, you know, they want women to know they have to shave. It's unladylike. But boys, they're allowed to have pubic hair. It's the double standard, I guess. So, more boring talk of, like, the male system and testes and sperm. And, wow, this film is not nearly as hot as I was hoping it would be. But if you don't get rid of sperm by fucking or jacking off, not the terms they use, then you have a wet dream, term they do use, and that's all okay. And then we get an animated look of how the sperm goes from the testes into the penis, but we don't actually we only see half the penis. We don't see the tip. We don't see that the penis is inside the vagina. And now they're shooting to the vagina. And again, we don't see that the penis is in the vagina. So, this is a failure. How am I going to get off to this? I don't have a fetish for medical terminology. Blah, blah, blah. The rest of it's boring. I'm skipping the second half. It's all the same stuff that they teach you in school. Like, sperm meets the egg, blah, 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 grows into a baby, and apparently John's brother had twins, and who cares? So, I'll toss one last film on here. Ice Harvest, which is about the commercial thing of ice. collection of ice. Um, yeah, because it isn't just like the old days, or I mean, like the new days where you just kind of fill up water containers and put them in the freezer. Back then, you had to like actually go and get ice. So we're seeing old timey guys in like an ice place using ice picks and all sorts of ice devices to get the ice, and horses to mount the ice on. It kind of reminds me of, like, remember that one episode of The Simpsons where they're on the ice expedition where they find like the head of the teddy bear, and they're just wondering, like, isn't there an easier way to get ice? Well, I guess, that's the way they back the old days, these dangerous expeditions with horses. It's a silent film, but there's like no title cards, so I'm really not learning anything. The one guy pointed to the horse's feet, and the horseshoes are frozen from the ice. And it looks like some people were ice skating, which, come on, we're on here for business to collect ice, not just to skate on the ice. But they've got all these things to saw off the ice, and you can see the water now because they've broken off bits of the ice. So I guess the lake isn't completely frozen, just the top of it, which I think is generally what lakes do. Or else you can't go ice fishing. But they're collecting up the ice, sort of. They're just kind of pushing it around. Who's collecting the ice? Where are they? I want to see, like, whose job it is to have to pick up the ice, because it looks like some of these guys aren't even wearing gloves. So, and if they are, they're just very, like, skimpy gloves. Because back then, men were men. They're like, fuck this, I don't care if it's fucking freezing. I don't care if I have to get frostbite. I am getting that ice. So they've loaded up the ice in the horse carts, and they're nice enough to give the horses blankets to help keep them warm. That's very nice. Because I'm guessing these horses aren't native to ice temperatures. The guys are eating their lunch, and I don't know. I think one of them was eating ice. Which, don't eat from the supply, Jim. Don't get high off your own supply. This ice is for the masses to make us money, and you're just eating into our profits by eating ice. I don't know if they have, like, some sort of storage thing for the ice, for when they get the ice to wherever they're getting it to, so it doesn't, like, melt. Like, I hope they explain that to us. Well, I mean, if they do, I'm not gonna fucking know, because it's silent, and they don't have title cards. So I don't know what the fuck's going on. I just know the horses are carrying a cart full of ice, and now they're taking it to town, and I don't know. I guess this is why you gotta collect a lot of ice, because it's just gonna melt on the way, so you're gonna automatically lose supplies, and that's why you shouldn't eat ice if your job is to collect ice, because you're eating into the profits. You've already got like a giant loss margin from all the ice that melts on the way. Where are they taking this ice? Where does ice go? Where does ice go back in the old day? And the ice is taken into some sort of barn warehouse thing where they have like a sort of conveyor belt thing that they can just slide the ice down. And that's it. That's where the film ends. We don't learn we learned where the ice gets stored, but we don't learn how it's stored. How do they keep it cold? Is it just because it's a cold barn? That can't be enough. Where do they put the ice so it stays ice and doesn't melt? And then what are they doing with the ice? Where does it go? Who do they sell the ice to? So many questions, and you've let me down. Again, these educational films don't really seem all that educational. But you know the drill by now. Unless you're a first-time listener. Drill is email me at velvetowl@hotmail.com. comments, concerns, nude pictures, whatever you want to send me, scam alerts. If you're a Nigerian prince that needs help, email me. I'll see what I can do. Until next time.